Respiration and breathing. Exercise number 8. Respiration is a chemical process by which energy is released from food in our body. The function of respiratory system is to breathe in oxygen and to breathe out carbon dioxide, occurring for production of energy. We will tackle all about respiratory tracts of frogs, including larynx or voice box, glottis, vocal cords, lungs, visceral pleura, alveoli, and bronchi. Larynx or voice box is a round or ovoid structure with cartilaginous walls. Air passes through the larynx on its way to the lungs. The larynx also produces vocal sounds and prevents the passage of food and other foreign particles into the lower respiratory tracts. Glottis. The glottis is a slit-like opening on the floor of the pharynx. It's a valve that controls airflow in and out of the respiratory passages. The glottis opens directly into a box-like larynx. Vocal cords are a pair of delicate white bands, each located at the side of the glottis. These are folds of tissue in the throat that are key in creating sounds. Sound is produced by the vibration of these vocal cords. Lungs. The main function of the lung is respiration. The lungs are a pair of big, thin-walled sacs that are located at the interior portion of the pleuroperitoneal cavity. Visceral pleura. It is a thin outermost covering of the lungs that cushions the lungs and reduces any friction which may develop between other organs. It is lined by a simple squamous epithelium. Alveoli. Alveoli are tiny sacs within our lungs that is richly supplied with blood capillaries that allows oxygen and carbon dioxide to move between the lungs and blood streams for gas exchange. Bronchi are a pair of tubes from the larynx that goes to the lungs. These are extensions of the windpipe that shuttle air to and from the lungs. Think of them as highways for gas exchange, with oxygen going to the lungs and carbon dioxide leaving the lungs through them. More information. The structural conditions necessary to make respiration effective is a thin and moist environment. The physics law governing the exchange of gases is Dalton's law. The thin membranous skin of a toad enables the diffusion of gases between the blood vessels and surroundings. Physiology of breathing. The process can be divided into two: pulmonary ventilation and gas exchange. In pulmonary ventilation, it is referred to as breathing. It is a mechanical process of moving air into and out of the lungs. Gas exchange is the exchange of gases across the respiratory membrane. Oxygen goes in and carbon dioxide goes out. Mechanics of breathing in frogs. Things to keep in mind. Air moves from a higher pressure to a lower pressure. The standard air pressure ASF is equals to 760 mmHg. mmHg stands for millimeters of mercury. In the mechanics of breathing, we have the inhalation and exhalation. Inspiration. During the process of inhalation, the lung volume expands as a result of the contraction of the diaphragm, thus expanding the thoracic cavity. This causes the decrease in pressure, and air moves from the atmosphere into the lungs. Expiration. During this process, the chest wall expands out and away from the lungs. Upon exhalation, the lungs recoil to force the air out of the lungs. During exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes, increasing pressure in the thoracic cavity. Respiratory sounds. Healthy lungs, you will hear a smooth flow of air into and out of the lungs. If it is a congested lung, then you will hear a wheezing or rattling sound. Stethoscope is an instrument used for oscillation or listening to sounds produced by the body. What are you gonna hear when directed at a frog's larynx? And where is it more ideal to be directed? In the larynx, a tracheal and bronchial sound will be heard. And the ideal place for a stethoscope to be directed is in the triangle of osculation. Chemical factors related to breathing. The respiratory cycle includes two phases, which are an inspiration or the inhaling of environmental air, which includes oxygen, and the expiration or exhalation of carbon dioxide. Each inspiration plus one expiration is one breath. Respiratory rate is equal to the number of breaths divided by the time in minutes. Variations of respiratory rate. When you're sitting quietly, then you will have a lower respiratory rate. If you exercise or after running, then you will have a higher respiratory rate. This is because as you need more energy, your chemoreceptor will detect this change and signal your brain to increase your breathing rate, to bring more air or oxygen into your lungs so that your lungs can pump more oxygen into your blood and out to your muscles and exhale the excess CO2 produced. Ask question: what is breath holding baseline rate? What are the relationship between carbon dioxide and breath holding? What is hyperventilation and how does it relate to breath holding? The answer to this question will be discussed. Breath holding baseline. Your breath holding capacity without the effect of other factors. Example, paper bag or hyperventilation. Relationship between carbon dioxide and breath holding. The more carbon dioxide is in your body, the lesser your holding capacity is, and vice versa. What is hyperventilation and how does it relate to breath holding? Hyperventilation is a condition in which you start to breathe very fast. This causes a rapid reduction in carbon dioxide in the body, and therefore increasing your breath holding capacity. Brain's response. A human's brain can't detect oxygen levels, but can identify the amount of CO2 in your body. Your brain uses this as an indirect signal to estimate the amount of oxygen in your body. Look at it this way. Your brain will interpret it as this. Higher CO2 is equals to lower O2. Your brain will dictate you to breathe ASAP. In other words, your brain urges you to breathe. Additional information. High carbon dioxide levels can also change the acid-base condition in your body. Carbon dioxide can react with water to form carbonic acid, thus making your body fluids more acidic. That is all. Thank you.